Hello and welcome to Steven University. This week we're discussing winter forecast. We didn't discuss it, Chris. It's not in the past. It's yet to happen. The problem is I've got future vision and I've already lived through this podcast. So
how is it?
It's terrible as always.
I thought you were going to be like, no better or worse than it usually is.
Yeah, about par with every other piece of shit we've ever released. What I'm loving, by the way, is the enthusiasm of the fan base. There are certain things that happen in the future of the show, Chris, that obviously no one wants me to give away. You know, it's a show with a deep mythology, as you know, and there's plenty of stuff you've yet to discover. I got a mildly threatening mildly threatening tweet yesterday. It was amazing. I don't know if I can read it without giving it away. Let me just look how he phrased it and see if I could. Let me just quickly bring it up. It's amazing. I love how passionate the fans are. It's amazing. And by fans, I mean fans of Steven Universe, not.
Yeah. We're not so arrogant as to be like our fans.
We don't have fans.
Can I just say, while you're looking it up, I really like, and I've listened to podcast interviews with him and like other interviews and stuff, and I really, really like Tom Holland, Peter Parker. But in all his interviews, he references my fans, and I just find it just something about it doesn't sit well with me. I've never, and I get it because actually, dude's 19, he is, he is the Instagram, Facebook, social media generation. I'm not criticizing him being like my fans because they are his fans, and he grew up in an environment where that he's well within his right and fair to use that terminology. I'm not criticizing him, but as someone who's slightly older and all of the kind of the actors and artists that I like don't talk like that, and I know that some older ones do, Katy Perry and all that, a lot of named their fans and stuff, but he's just constantly like, my fans are and I'm like, ooh, that's weird.
Yeah, gives me the heebie-jeebies. The quote is, so it said, Dan, if you so dare as to even plant a seedling of our spoiler regarding X, Y, and Z, so help you God, #just making sure, sincerely a harmless, loving listener. Right, nothing harmless about that threat. Nothing harmless about that. That is legitimately it's an amazing message. And I'm sure this person means absolutely no ill will whatsoever. But the phrasing on that is so threatening. It's hilarious. So help me God, apparently. That's
awesome.
That is something. Anyway, right.
Awesome.
Let's talk about the episode. So Chris, what's it about?
What's it about? It's about weather, Dan. Winter's coming. But they managed to...
No, sorry,
this?
You watched an episode of Game of Thrones. No, hopefully you watched...
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying, you see this Game of Thrones? Winter came in 11 fucking minutes. Okay, guys? They didn't need 7 seasons stretching it out. Fed up of it.
Yeah, take a page out of Steven Universe's book and have winter happen in 11 minutes.
Yeah. Sean Bean would still be alive. It'd be great. Spoilers. Game of Thrones season 1. Aired 8 years ago. I think it's fine. So Connie and Steven are having some sweet romantic times. And they wanna watch the snow. First of all, their immediate thought to come back to is that shit really in marshmallows. But we'll deal with that. So they're cooking marshmallows. They're having a good time. And then Garnet gives Steven an uncharacteristically out of character kiss. I've talked a lot about this sort of weird flip between really sweet and lovely, and she gives him a kiss. And I was like, oh, odd. Okay, fine. And then he gets. We find out at the end some future visions. So first of all, they procrastinate and they don't go, and then they get yelled at. Because Steven's dad makes them walk through the snow and the parents aren't happy. Then we see them then get stranded, and the Connie's dad comes out and he crashes his car. So that's all angry. Then they go back and they interrupt some heavy gem shit, and that causes a big disaster. And then Steven realizes the right choice is to just get in the van, get in the van. For once in a children's TV show, the right thing to do is to hurry up and get in the van with the guy wearing a cherry-based sweatshirt, which I'm pretty sure has never happened in any other show before. They get in the van, they go there, and Steven and Greg get to stay because the families are all impressed with the fact they got home, blah, 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 blah. So they stay, and then Connie and Steven get to watch the snowfall after all, in a really sweet... I mean, maybe I'm weird, but there's some light undertones of more adult themes there, I think, just in the fear on Steven's face and the way that he keeps his duvet over him. Just saying. But then they sit there in silence. It's very, very sweet.
I was going to say, way to ruin the sweetest moment in the episode.
It's a very sweet moment where they sit there and together watch the snowfall, soundtracked by the tears of Greg, the snores of Greg. I thought it was very sweet. I like these episodes where part of me, I know it sounds really, but I kind of want an episode where there's no gem shit. I know I've said that the last few, but I just think not many shows could pull off an episode where they don't, Supernatural. I mean, I haven't seen all 37 seasons, but I don't imagine Supernatural could pull off an episode where nothing supernatural happens. I think this show could pull off an episode where there's no gem shit at all. Mm-hmm. And part of me kind of wants to see that. And this episode is kind of that. There's no monsters, there's no bubbles or anything like that. But obviously we are dealing with this future forecasting. But it's done, future vision, sorry. It's done very well. It's done very sweet. I think there's some lovely moments. I think that Greg's determination to get her home and be a good, sensible dad is really nice. The stuff with her parents at the end where they let him stay is very sweet. All of the Steve Connie stuff is very romantic and very sweet. It's just a nice, light-hearted, sweet episode.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I've still got hay fever. I'm sorry if you can hear the sniffs.
I don't care.
Well, let's assume for the next 20-odd episodes, I may be sniffing slightly.
As the summer goes on.
Well, is it? Because part of me, I keep criticising, our cleaning. I'm like, there must be dust somewhere. And Jess is like, do you ever think it's because we live near the river and the windows are open? And I'm like, no! No, we're not cleaning. We need a feather duster. We need to clean better. Because it's worse, in the evening in the house. But I think it is the river. I think the river theory is sound. To be fair to her,
the river theory.
Yeah.
There you go. Chris's theory of the week regarding his hay fever this week for some reason, not the show itself. I'm a fan of this episode. I really like this one for so many reasons. First of all, it's really cool to see how Future Vision sort of works. I would think a person with that would have to be very strong-minded, or they would go mad with all the possibilities. We got a glimpse of that with Steven when he kept asking Garnet, about the possibilities. But actually, because I think you'd start to lose track of because it feels like they play out legitimately. You don't just get glimpses of what might happen. You literally live out all the possibilities. How would you start keeping track of what is and isn't happening? Yeah. I'd struggle.
Yeah, I must admit, and I never thought I'd say this, but I sort of prefer because in Twilight they did do a whole big scene, didn't they? But those shows where you just have them flash to a moment, and it's not it seems like a lot of work to live every moment out. I must admit, I preferred the idea that Future Vision, she just got a flash of scenarios, or the conclusion maybe.
Because she sort of says that it's I gave it you for a second, and it's what what we just lived through was a second. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's that sounds like it would maybe drive a person crazy. I mean, a gem maybe not, but a person possibly. I think it's a really sweet episode. There's so many nice moments between Steven and Connie. The moment when they realized they could, early in the episode, when they float the idea of staying up and just watching the snow, the glint in both their eyes as they look at each other and have that thought is really sweet. Very well done. Very well balanced. Connie sneaks down in the night, and usually when young people sneak down in the night, avoiding their parents, it's for other reasons, I guess, as Chris pointed out. But in this case, it's adorable, and they just want to watch the snow together, and it's a really sweet moment. So I'm on board.
I'm not sure that's all Steven wants to do, but yeah.
I you're a bad person. But yeah, no, I think it's there's not as much to say about this one because it's such a clean, straightforward concept. I thought that I didn't find Garnet's sort of sweetness as out of character, but I think maybe that's just me.
I'm beginning to not like she's being sweeter and sweeter and stuff. And actually, they even if you did find it out of character, there's an explanation for it at the end. Like there's a in-show gem-related explanation that was her passing on the future vision. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I like that they didn't reveal that she'd done that at the beginning. Like
no,
because
no. But I think you get it though, don't you? Like I think you guess that. You
once it starts happening, yeah. I mean, because I've had a sort of like I've had an eye for this. You'll notice this when Steven licks the palm of his hand to use his healing powers. There's a weird little white dot sparkles that appear around it when he does it when it's going to work, and when it's not going to work, they do not appear. And those exact same white dot sparkly things come up when she kisses Steven. Yeah. So you know that's what's happened. But I think there's another version of this episode where he's aware that that's what's happening and he's exploring all the possibilities.
Yeah, that's not as fun.
No, I agree. I'm complimenting them on that because I think it's a better, more sensible move for them to not quite reveal it. So let him actually make the bad choice, like naturally, believing it's really making the bad choice, see the outcomes, and then learn his lesson and then make the right choice. That's better because if he goes into it knowing that it doesn't matter and that it's just future vision, then he's making the bad choice out of just like, oh, what would happen if I did this? It's like it turns his life into a video game briefly. Do you know what I mean? But that's an interesting point in itself then, because then you go sort of like, you look at sort of, from Garnet's perspective, she knows she has future vision when she's seeing all these possibilities. So like, when she makes a good choice, is she just making a good choice because she's making a good choice, or is she making a good choice because she's a good person?
Yeah, interesting.
Cause
I think she's probably making a good choice because she's a good person. That's the one I'd hope would be the case.
Sure, but my point is that if you're sort of like in this case, if Steven had been aware it was future vision and he was just exploring about the different options till he found the best one with maybe the best outcome, which is what ended up happening, sort of, he wouldn't have been making the choice for the right reasons then. Do you know what I mean? Because it was the right thing to do to bring her home because her parents were worried and all that stuff.
Well, hey, a boy wants to watch some snowflakes. A boy wants to watch some snowflakes. That's, I don't think it's wrong to criticise him wanting that natural urge.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
But with the Garnets,
I hate you for putting that in my head. By the way, so much.
I'm not. Look, it's a very sweet moment. I'm just saying they focus on their nervous expressions, and Steven grips that blanket, and it's probably just a very sweet thing, and I apologise if people in the comments think we're monsters. But back to Garnet, because I think that's interesting, because do you think showing future vision in that way sort of makes you go, well, if she can do that with every single possibility, why does anything ever go wrong?
That is actually a good point.
I'm not trying to be a cock, but like, is there not an element of, well, surely she saw a future then where that, the evil gems appeared and stuff like that, and
maybe there's something she just can't stop.
Yeah, but I wish they said that, because I think that's fine, because it's the same, sniffing again, sorry. It's the Doctor Who thing. If he can go back and stop it, why doesn't he just go back and stop it? And they put that weird, some things are a fixed point in time, and maybe some things you can't get a future vision.
This is a bit different, though, because look, so let's talk about, we'll use your example, Gem's coming back, right? Maybe there is physically no way for Garnet to do that, so she goes through all the possibilities, and there is no scenario in which what she does can stop that, because they're out there, And they're going, what's she going to do? Build a giant, metal shield around the Earth? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yes.
Physically, that's a thing you cannot stop. It's like Steven couldn't have not stopped the snowstorm from happening to continue his evening. Do you see what I'm saying? So the possibilities still have to be within the realms of what you're physically capable of doing. So yeah, she might be able to see the moment they arrive, or delay it, or do something to hinder it. Maybe, like in this, we got a hint of them doing something to destroy the galaxy warp. And maybe that'll slow them down from getting there sooner. Do you know what I mean? But that ultimately, you might not be able to stop that, because maybe they're just going to come in a way that you physically can't prevent. Do you know what I mean? It's like saying like how couldn't she stop a tidal wave? Well, how could a person stop a tidal wave? Even a gem. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. So the limitations are the limitations of what she can physically do as a person, like normal.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Well argued.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas with Doctor Who, he literally could physically go back, change things, stop things. Like, he could go back and kill Hitler. There's nothing to physically stop him.
Unless it's a fixed point in time.
Well, that's exactly it. That's why that's why they've invented the fixed point in time thing, is to make sure that doesn't become a consistent argument. This is slightly different in that I think just because she can see all the things that are going to happen doesn't mean she can always prevent them.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
She can make good choices. And she can, affect things in the way that a person could affect things. And that foreknowledge probably gives her, more ability to do that than most, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee it.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool.
Future Vision analysed. Tick.
Yeah, no, it's nice. But what was amazing is, like, I agreed with you from your first point. You just kept going. Well,
no, because there was more. There was the point expanded, Chris. I was expanding my point. I understood I'd won you over it, but I was elaborating on the point. Is that not allowed? Once you agree, I'm supposed to stop talking.
Yeah, that's it. No, I'm joking.
Okay. So in future, when I say I like an episode and you go, me too, I have to just stop talking about the episode.
Yeah. Episodes will be much shorter going forward.
Yeah, that'd be a lot better, wouldn't it? Less of this shit. Do you think so what do you think about the little glimpse we got then about them potentially doing something to prevent the because presumably that still happened in the core timeline, but without Steven's interruption.
Yeah, and they presumably achieved it. I think it's good. I like the idea that they in the background are aware of this threat, have not forgotten about this threat, and are trying to put stuff in place to look out for it and resolve it. I like that as a motif, as an idea.
Yeah, because it means that we can have our fun little episodes and not worry about that. It doesn't seem weird that they're not dealing with it. It's not that they're not dealing with it. It's that they're not letting Steven in on what they're doing because he's too young or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works as well, because as the show goes forward and Steven gets more involved in that stuff, there's less of that. But that's natural and that makes sense, because then he's included. So it's like we're very much seeing it from Steven's perspective.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to think, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool. And it does make me feel better about the sort of meandery, like, Steven Funtime episodes, because you go like, there's a big threat coming, things are bad, did you not listen to the gems last week? Like, why aren't we doing something? Like, you can put that to bed with a moment like this. I've done it again, haven't I, Chris, where you agreed with me and I just explained myself again.
And that's why it's quite nice, though, that, like, recent episodes we've been dealing with different fractions. So this week, actually, we're dealing with Stephen, Connie and Greg in the main. And last week, we had Garnet, or whenever it was recently, we had Garnet and Steven. So maybe the other gems, if it's not the four of them, we can assume the other gems are doing some shit to stop these other gems coming back to Earth.
And it has rarely been the four of them. I mean, what was the episode recently we had that we really liked was On the Run, with where it was Amethyst and Steven, and they went to the kindergarten. And then even though Pearl shows up later in that episode, Garnet's still absent the whole time. Not absent, but not directly involved. So you can assume maybe she was doing something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
So that is everything for this week. We're gonna end this here because it's time. I
love you. You uploaded an episode recently and put a bonus scene after the titles. I enjoyed that a lot.
Don't remember doing that.
I think it was Joking Apart.
And was there a bit after the credits?
Yeah, but where we just, it was mainly us going, we're after the credits, woo.
Okay, fair enough. I think like I think the music ends, doesn't it? I think if I remember rightly when I edited that, I had the music start like normal, then it went, and it just carries on, and then the music comes back in at the end. Anyway, that's everything for this week. I've been Dan Doolan.
I've been Chris Billingham.
And we'll see you next time as we discuss maximum capacity.
Are we after the credits again, or?
Oh, Chris, another one.
Are we? I don't know. Are you cutting it?
Maybe. Yeah, I guess we are. Hello,
it's
after the credits.
It's not going to be a long one either way because I need the loo. But still.
There you go. After the credits, this is my future vision says that there's a very distinct possibility Chris may now go to the toilet.
Wee.